Hi, I'm Danger Dan Jers, the host and GM of the D&D Real Play podcast, D&D Dark. Join us on Wednesdays for an absurd, over-the-top comedy horror adventure, starring some of history's most infamous monsters.
I'm Ben Magnet. I play Mary Frankenstein, our barbarian.
I am Daniel Cruz. I am playing Imhotep the Mummy, our cleric.
I'm Jordan, and I play Larry Talbot, a lycanthropic warlock.
I am Grayson, playing Jet Griffin, the Invisible Man, the party's rogue.
I am Aaron. I play the Phantom of the Opera, our bard.
For more information, go to dndarkpodcast.com and listen to us anywhere you find podcasts.
Hey everybody, this is Davis with Con Freaks and Geeks, and I would like to welcome you to another episode of Pop Culture Gems. This is a series where we talk to amazing creators, artists, cosplayers, voice actors, and so much more. If you like the interviews we do with amazing guests, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel, the CFG channel, or you can go to either our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, or listen to it on any podcast services out there. Today, I'm getting to interview a wonderful person in the voice acting community. She plays roles in anime and gaming series, as well as cosplay at events itself, at conventions and such. Some of the roles that she has played are Marianne from Fire Emblem Three Houses, Kanan from the recently released game Neo, The World Ends With You, the ditzy yet business savvy elf Halkara in I've Been Killing Slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. That is a tongue twister of a title. And you most definitely will remember her as beauty thief Haru Okumura from the Persona 5 anime and games. I would like to welcome Xanthe Huynh to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, thank you. That was an amazing intro. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming. It's really great to talk to you. I love JRPGs, and apparently you are in a lot of them. So I'm just the one series that I will say that I play a lot was Trails of Cold Steel, and yeah, and I know that you played what's her name? Altina.
Yes.
Yeah, and then like slow. But what's weird is that ever since I started this show, like it's not by like design, but I have been talking to people that have been in that cast. Like you're like number 9 out of that cast of characters. Yeah,
it's got a lot of great people in it.
Oh God, yes. So my friends and some of the people here at work, they basically made a thing called 7 Degrees of Trails. So anytime that we get a character, we just scratch one off.
Yes, must collect them all, right?
You gotta collect them all. That's right. I'm going through the list. I'm not aiming, but it's cool. But no, I'm glad that you're a part of it. I'm glad you're welcome to the show. Would love to geek out with you a little bit here. So let's get this party started. So excuse me. So I mean, from doing a voice acting competition, like starting out doing a voice acting competition at AX to ending up being in huge projects like Persona 5 and other great animes and gaming, your voice acting journey is an incredible one. Was voice acting always like what you planned on doing for a career?
It wasn't what I had like started out wanting to do, because I did not know that it was a job that a normie like me could do. I had no idea how to get into the business at all. I actually started off, in taking classes in theater back in like middle school and high school, and I went to college, and even then not really sure what I wanted to go into. And so I figured that through taking classes and working on shows there, that maybe I would find something that I would be very passionate about pursuing, even if it's not necessarily acting. So I took, classes in production and like sound design and pretty much everything that you would do in like in a theater production. And while I was still in college, I found out about voice acting, just like it was like when YouTube was still kind of growing back in the day. by watching videos of voice actors doing like behind the scenes stuff, talking about the process, I got really interested in it. And that's how I, went in kind of just out of curiosity. And also just to, because it'd be cool to combine my love of acting and anime, that I was able to kind of stumble into it and amazingly still do it to this day.
So is it more like something that it was like, it wasn't maybe like, in the cards initially, but you knew that you kind of wanted to do something that was like performing in some sort of way? Like, I mean, you said like you were doing theater and all that, and all of that. Like you knew you wanted to do something, but you weren't quite sure until that opportunity kind of reached out to you.
Yes, that is a very concise way to put it all. Yes.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but that's, I mean,
you said it perfectly.
But that's cool though. I mean, so, but you knew that it was like something that you were like, you wanted to do something in when it came to like, acting or performing though. Mm-hmm. But this was the best, that was the best, I guess,
it married all my passions together.
That's cool though. That's cool though. I mean, but it itself though. I mean, I know people may not know like, but the competition itself, like, what was that competition? The AX, the voice acting competition where you decided where like you decided that was the key moment. Like, what was that competition?
So, AX Idol at the time it was called. The way they had done it at the time was that you found a monologue from a video game or an anime, you memorized it, you came to the competition, and you performed it. And then finalists would be drawn from there to compete for the first place prize. And I think at the time it like varied per year, but the main thing that the main attraction was to be able to go into the studio and audition for something. And so in a way that's it was similar to how theater auditions were, where you would have to like find your own monologue and memorize it and perform it. So it's very different than like how you would do like a voiceover audition. But yeah, so that's how that went, and I felt like I feel like I have lost my train of thought. But yeah, so that was the process that I went through at the time. And I, even before they announced the finalists, I had a really great time, and I was already creating a formula in my mind, like about how to approach it next year, because I was sure I totally like bombed this audition, and I don't know why, but they chose me as a finalist. Very lucky. I knew nothing about voiceover and how to approach it, but I think the fundamentals of acting were still there, and so I'm glad that I had the experience that I had in theater and being able to apply it directly for like the final competition.
I really kind of find I find it very fascinating, but because it's like, it kind of still like, I've talked to a lot of voice actors, and it's like most people kind of say the same kind of thing of saying like, you have to have the fundamentals, like theater or background or something, of some sort. But I love it because the way that y'all get into voice acting itself is just like phenomenal stories to me. I've always find it incredible.
Yes. Ask any actor and they will tell you something completely different.
It's like there was one, so I can just imagine I'm just waiting for the one where they'll be like, yeah, I was at a California pizza kitchen, and then I said, you know what? Let me go do this one
Somebody
voice
was like,
acting
you have
role.
an amazing voice.
And I just got my first gig. Like, oh man, but I love it. Well, I love it. I mean, I'm not like, I think that, I mean, yeah, definitely it's not just like a simple thing to do, and it's not a simple piece of cake. I mean, but I find it very commendable of what y'all do. So that's very awesome.
Thank you.
Well, like, is there a character you've played that best channels your real self, and why?
Oh man, there's so many. I feel like every character that I play, there's something that I connect to them and on some level. I guess first one that comes to mind would be Hanayo from Love Live School Idol Project, mainly because like she starts off initially super duper shy, but you know she has this interest in like performance and like idols in general, and I love that she had really great friends and people around her that encouraged her to follow her dreams and and try it out, just to see, because otherwise, you always have that, oh, what if I had done this or that? And then, seeing the success that they go through, I feel like I really connected with her in regards to that, because that happened to me even in college. Friends of mine in this small club that we had created were having auditions for a show, and I just happened to be walking by because I wanted to just pop in and say hey, hope everything's going well, and be on my way. But when I did, they were like, hey, are you auditioning? And I said, no, I just wanted to say hi. I don't have anything prepared. But they were like, no, just come read, because we have nobody right now. I'm like, all right. And I read, and I got cast and had an amazing time working on that production, and learning so much, because theater, a lot of it is a work of passion, because there's not a ton of money involved and things like that. And also because of the small budgets, you're learning to be very scrappy, and maybe you'll be jumping in to help little things backstage, and you really build this community. And I've always kind of loved that collaborative process. And I'm getting on a huge tangent, but I feel like that moment where my friends were like, no, come do this thing. We know you want to, but you're just too afraid, anxious, shy, whatever. And I really related with that, with what Hanayo went through. And also, she loves to eat rice. And I don't know if you're familiar with, but there's this scene where she and another character are put on a diet, and they're out for a run, and they just happen to run by this place that's having this amazing deal for a giant bowl of rice, and they have this nonverbal conversation about should we go in? And no, but we should go in. But yes, I want to, but no. It's all, there's no words. It's all how do you have a conversation like this? And it's so funny.
That must be a really interesting conversation to have inside the booth. It's it's just grunts and what are they doing in there?
It needs to be so specific, because it needs to convey certain meanings, and at the same time you're kind of jogging in place. But yeah.
Oh man, that is so great. I just realized, you said you are you into Broadway or musicals and stuff like that too, with your theater background?
That's a yes and no. I should be watching and reading more plays and musicals, but I haven't. I've seen some, but not to the extent of many others have, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, not a big not a background wise fan of the classics and stuff. I'm just wondering, because I don't know. I can talk for hours when it comes to musicals. That's just me. But after talking to several voice actors, I noticed something. Sometimes some of the big roles you get to play are not directly told to you, which is insane to me. At the start of the project, has there been a role that you went into that you went in on and had no idea what you're playing until the first day of recording?
It happens all the time.
Why? Is it so hard to be oh yeah, here you go, you're going to be the lead of this anime, or this game?
And I feel like when that happens, it's like you must understand how to communicate with creatives like actors, because so that we can get into like a certain mind space, or like the way we warm up our voices so we can prepare for what we're doing depending on what it is. And to go in like not knowing is one of the most difficult things, and but I guess one of the biggest ones would have to be Persona 5. And I think it's just having to do with how super duper 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 secret that project was. And so like I went in and they were, because like the initial email was just like, hey, we have a game we'd like you to work on. Can you come in? And I did. And like, they were like, oh, can you sign these forms? I'm like, all right. And then they were like, oh, by the way, we're working on Persona 5. I was like, oh, okay. And yeah.
Was that after that you got the role, or was that like during the process of you kind of, trying to go for it?
I was one of the few that didn't audition. So I didn't know at all what was going on. And so like going in, that's when they explained to me the character that I was reading for, and like the storyline and where she's coming in and all that stuff, because I went in not knowing anything.
Wow.
And yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Continue.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's just one of those things. At least for a role like that, it's not super like vocally strenuous, but sometimes like I'll show up for things and like maybe like they're not even aware either that something major will happen to a character, and it's like, oh well, I guess this small cute girl that you're playing just got turned into this giant monster. Can you do the voice for that? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really do creature voices, but I can try. And if it sounds really bad, please cast somebody else, because I'm not sure. I wasn't expecting to do this today. So it happened.
Man, like, it's funny though, because like there was a person, someone I was talking to about that too. Like they like, I don't know the level of anxiety that could also possibly put on you, like just in general. It's just, I can only imagine. It's like, man, I really want this gig. But there was a person that was under the assumption that he was the understudy of some sort, or like, the backup VA. He did the role like throughout the whole process. And then like, he didn't know that they were going to use it until literally they were like, oh no, you're the main dude. And then it's like, he was going through it for 4 months. And he didn't even know. He was like, because he thought it was a session by session basis. Like they could have just said, okay, you're done for the day and that's it. But then it's like, oh no, you're the guy. And I'm like, how do y'all not like? How is that not like solidified right? Immediately? It's like, oh no, yeah, you're the main lead. It's like, how do you not know that? That's insane to me.
Yeah, right. It's so crazy. I mean, there have definitely been like projects where I worked under code names and I did not know what they were at all until it released. Or like I get an email before release saying like, hey, you've been approved to like announce your role in this. And I was like, that's what that was? Oh, I had no idea. It was so huge. So
there's a different story about like, because like I'm assuming there must be paperwork. There must be NDAs and stuff like that you must sign for these roles and stuff. Yeah, but what's weird is that so are they still saying, okay, I know that you signed the NDA, but we still don't trust you. So we're just going to call this role Bob, and until then you could then you'll figure it out once we let you know. It's like, that seems kind of that seems pretty protective.
Yeah, I remember like speaking to a director that said like, oh, this character is like talking after it released, and he said like, oh, I'm so used to calling this character so and so and that one so and so because we were going under these code names for so long, and then like when it released, it was actually whatever it was.
Wow. So was the scripts like when you were like doing the script was those code names still until they decided to change it to the real thing?
I guess so, even for the director. But I guess for me, like sometimes usually I think the characters that I've worked on, they don't have, or I haven't been in a production where the characters rename something else. Maybe just for audition sides, but when you go in, then they'll be like, okay, this is the real deal. This is what's happening here. So that, you're not too, clouded with like under these like layers of like secrecy.
Oh man, wow! That's just fascinating, just straight up fascinating. And I mean, and the cool thing that you like to do is like cosplay when you go to events and stuff. Like, just wonder, like, how long have you been cosplaying, and who are some of the things who are some of the people or things that you've cosplayed so far?
Yeah, I cosplay has always been something that I was like really fascinated with and like wanted to do. And then once I was old enough and like had the money to do it, I was like, I'm all in. My very first cosplay was in 2008. I learned how to use a really old, like crappy sewing machine, and I'm still really terrible at it. But I made a costume. It was like a school uniform from School Rumble, and I cosplayed as Tenma because I was super obsessed with that show, and it's still one of my favorite shows to this day. I've cosplayed. I've also done Toph from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and cool. I've done like iteration like Gajinkas of like Pokemon. I guess nowadays I've also done just like cosplay of some of the characters that I voiced, some that I've taken to cons. So I often wear Haru from Persona 5 when I can. And also I tend to lean towards like the school uniform cosplay, especially if I'm there as a guest and I'm like moving around a lot. So I like to be, I try to be comfortable when possible, but I like to cosplay just for my own fun, honestly. But also just like some fans like that too, just so you can be like, oh, let's like have a photo together. But yeah, wow, cosplay is just something that I mostly do for me.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. I've always like, especially, do you make it from scratch yourself, or do you like, just know
like half and half. It really depends. Sometimes it's just too, some cosplay are just too difficult, and I don't have the technical talent to be able to execute them myself. So sometimes I'll buy stuff, but then also sometimes when you buy stuff, you don't know what it's going to be like till you get it, and it's like, oh, this is not very accurate, so I can't wear it. Sometimes I'll make pieces, or I'll just like buy little pieces, put them together, and like fix them so that it looks more accurate. So it's a little bit of this and that. But yeah, creating them from scratch, I've done a few times, and it's just oh,
that's cool.
It gets stressful because I'm not an expert at all.
Oh yeah,
like. It's like, look from a distance, don't look too closely because you'll see all the loose threads here and there and safety pins.
Oh, you're better than me, though. I have only cosplayed once in my entire life. And it was what? I was Mr. Popo.
Mr. Popo, yes! Oh, that's a comfy cosplay too, right there.
It is. Like my friend made the halter vest and stuff, like everything. And I'm like, this is the first and last time. There'll be no blackmail photos of this ever to be seen.
That's a great friend right there, though, to be like, we're doing this.
Yes, I still have the vest, which is even crazier. So it's so funny. It got the baggy pants. I did the black everything and stuff. It was crazy. It was a mess, but it was so funny.
Did you go to any of like those meetups with other like?
This was like a long time ago. Like this was like Akon back in like 05, 06. So they didn't really do well. I guess they did do meetups. They did do photos and stuff, but it wasn't like how it is now. Like especially like You know how like at AX, there's the backside of the area where you have like the gigantic spots and all that.
Yeah, people yeah, that's true. There's communities where people will be like, all right, we're going to meet. Here's like tentative schedules where we're meeting this. Everybody, if you're doing this, then just meet at this corner at this time.
Yeah. I mean, they've gotten a lot more organized. Let's say that. Let's say that back in the day.
That makes
it was like, yeah, but it was cool though. I mean, I was like, okay, this is fun. I will never do this again. This is just a headache.
It also takes a lot out of you. Cool. I feel like even if you're just, sometimes, one of the things I like about cosplay is that when you're walking around, like somebody will be like, oh, that's my favorite character. And you'll go, that's mine too. And then you have this little geek out moment together.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, you're totally right. It's really fun when they do it, especially when it's like a weird, it's not a popular series, but like, but you found the person that was like, oh my God, you remember this? It's like you're cosplaying this character from the so-and-so. And I'm like, oh wow, you've seen it? Yeah. Then y'all just have that good 5-minute, like, connection of it. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. It's always awesome when you meet folks like that.
I cosplayed as Menma one year, and it was actually like an official cosplay that Aniplex lent to me to wear for the announcement of the dub, because like we dubbed it like years like late from after it had released, but it was really cool. So then I wore it like all day. I was walking around, and every now and then somebody would be like, "The show you're cosplaying from broke my heart." I'm like, I feel you.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, it's like I'm not really. I mean, I do watch anime, but nowhere near as much as I used to a long time ago. I think it was an AX, like maybe not that long ago, like 2017. Like I haven't been in AX like until like the mid 2000s or like 2015, 2016 or so. And this dude, like this really built, bulky dude, was dressed up as like a weird, who was it? It was Seijiro Hiko. He was the master of Kenshin back in the day. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, no one would know who this is unless they were like back in the day. And then I told him, because like he had the white cape and the giant sword. The dude was like really like, he was pretty built for it. So I was like, dang, tall dude. And I was like, man, I love that cosplay. It's one of my favorite series. He's like, you understand what this is? And he was so hyped about it.
Right?
And I was like,
oh.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like, because it's funny because like, I mean, I think it really makes a cosplayer's day, especially when you make the abstract ones and then you guess right, it's like, yeah, they're like, oh, I guess it was worth the 6 months of sewing this stitch together and stuff.
Oh man, cosplay is man, you really have to have a love for the craft because it's so much time and it's so much expensive. That's why, sometimes when I look at online and I used to think like, oh man, buying that costume is so expensive. I'll make it myself. Now I look at it and I'm like, you know what? Making it myself would be way more expensive than that.
Yeah.
Plus the time that you put into it.
Oh my God, you're so right. It's funny. I had no, but it's good. No, but I love it because I think I've seen you in your Beauty Thief cosplay before, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I like that, like the weird hair, like the weird sprung out hair that way. It's really, I love that. And like, what's it called? What was it? I just lost my place. Here we go. Like, do you have a dream role like that you would like to be a part of, or like a play, like someone or something that you want to play?
I guess so over the pandemic, I binged like 400 something episodes of One Piece and got caught up.
Oh my God.
That's how long I've been in 2020. But I would love to be in One Piece. There's just so many characters. I feel like because it's going on for so long, inevitably, please put me in. I'm ready, coach. I know my One Piece. But yeah, that's definitely like a title that I would like to be a part of.
So no specific character, but you just want to be a part of One Piece.
Yes, I would love to be. I mean, I really have a soft spot for the Shirahoshi, the mermaid princess, but I think she's already they're way past that arc at this point. But
I don't know. The English dubs are really behind. They're like, where are we at? Like in One Piece, I think they're at 985 in the live action in the anime, right? Like it's almost close to 1,000.
I think is it at the 900s yet? It's it's somewhere around there.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know what it is with the dub, but the dub is like only at 300 or 400. They haven't even dubbed Ace's the fight between like what's his name, Whitebeard and the Navy.
Oh, really? Are they that far back?
Yeah, they're really far back.
Well, like, I'm assuming. I mean, I don't really know like what their process was, but putting it out there, One Piece, please.
We'll just petition you like Xanthe for One Piece. That's what's gonna be. That's what's gonna be. You should be like you have to be a fruit user though. I think that would have to be the one stipulation. You have to be some sort of fruit user. I cannot believe that you've watched 400 episodes of that in a year. That's impressive.
Yeah, I had been behind for like a very long time, and I was like, all right, if there's anything I'm gonna do, it's catch up in One Piece.
You know, it's funny. That is amazing. Yeah, kudos to you on that one. But like, the series that I started binging was Black Clover.
That's another one that I haven't gotten into yet.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm not usually a fan of like long series like that. Like I like One Piece's manga, but man, I don't know. It's a tall order for me to say I want to sit down and watch the anime of all of that. That's that's dedication. But yeah, so no, I definitely understand. And also like, I mean, what kind of gaming and anime genres do you normally gravitate to yourself, like personally?
I guess when I'm watching anime, I tend to go for like the action and comedy types. Although I do watch other genres depending and like what my mood is. But yeah, things like Mob Psycho and like Initial D and Monthly Girls Nozaki. These are like some of like my go-tos. Like when I need a pick me up, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna like just put this on and watch it for the 10th time.
Initial D is I've never seen Initial D. I've only seen like 2 episodes of it.
Well, if you're really into the Eurobeat, that is the show for you.
Night of Fire, like Avex Mode, like all the songs sound like the whole soundtrack sounds like one giant song, and they all connect together as one giant song.
True. I feel that it's like one epic playlist.
It's just like, hey, you don't need to go to track 13. Just let it play the whole thing. You'll be fine. Oh man. Yes, and I heard that you liked the School Rumble. Like I loved School Rumble too. I was a big fan of that too. Like the bully was just so misunderstood. I feel so sorry for her.
Right? No. Oh man, glasses. Oh dude. Or what do they call him? Like Beardy.
Yeah. Man, it's been so long, but yeah.
Haruma? I think is his name, right?
I think it was Haruma.
Yeah.
Let's call him Haruma. Yeah,
he's so relatable when he goes through his like almost like a midlife crisis because he goes all the way and works on like a ship to like pursue his like doing manga and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah.
It didn't even make any sense. It's like it wasn't like, was it his sister? Like his crush's sister was helping him out with the manga, right?
Yeah.
Like as like editor. It was like, what is going on? Like these people are like so 16, 17 years old.
But I loved it. And it parodied so many things, so many shows. A lot of it didn't make sense. Like stuff like when they had the little like shooting game at like at school, and it's all sorts of outlandish things, but the comedy timing is just right in the sweet spot for me.
Oh yeah, I will definitely say that. Like, it kind of reminds me, there was a show that came out not like about 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was called Gamers. That kind of reminds me of School Rumble in a way.
Oh, really? I should check that out.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's like a kid who loves games and stuff, but then at the same time it's like his friend he wanted to ask this girl out, but the girl was known to saying to say no to everybody. Then she automatically says she want that she found him interesting for some odd reason. I don't even know how. And he then but then it was like a huge harem between the girl, his best friend's ex, all this different kinds of stuff, and it's just a massive level of misunderstandings and stuff, and it's really weird. But it connected in a way that I was like, this reminds me of School Rumble. So yeah. So that one was definitely to check out. And do you ever watch or play any of the content that you're in itself?
I try to, at least if it's anime or something that I've been in, that I can watch, it's a lot easier for me to consume that kind of content as opposed to playing games. I don't play a ton of games. I try to play them, but a lot of the JRPGs are just so long, and if I take a break at all, it's hard for me to get back into it. You have to pretty much relearn the controls and the game again. So I end up resorting to watching playthroughs or cutscenes of where my characters are, just so I can be all right, how did this turn out? What does it sound like with the other characters in there talking together? And also just so I can get a better understanding of what was happening. Because a lot of times, because I'm only seeing everything from my character's perspective, I have no idea what's happening in the overarching story or what's happening with everybody else in the cast. So it's always nice to kind of get the full context by actually watching through or seeing some of the gameplay footage. Because otherwise, I feel like I wouldn't be able to really connect with fans if they come talk to me about things. I'll be able to talk to them about my character, certainly, but about the whole content of the game, I feel like I wouldn't have that be able to have that connection if I didn't.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even really think about it that way, because I know that y'all don't usually record together in groups, but rather y'all's own specific individual sessions, so you get a little piece of the story, but you don't have the whole story. So didn't really think of it that. I never really thought of it that way.
If it's out already somewhere, if it's on Crunchyroll in Japanese and I can see a couple episodes, that definitely helps. But for a lot of things that are simultaneously released, Netflix will release all the languages at once, then and it doesn't exist anywhere, not even trailer, then it's really hard for me to go in and be all right, I have to kind of just immediately jump into this world. And especially with anime, anything could happen. We could be anywhere, and there's all sorts of different rules to this world, and having it explained is okay, but it's so much easier if I can kind of consume it and get a feel for it myself before I go in.
Oh, would you say is that kind of what you did with maybe Record of Ragnarok as well?
Yeah, Record of Ragnarok, I went in recording for that, not knowing what that was. Not having been able to see anything from it. I was able to kind of read some stuff on Wikipedias that are out there, but that was all I could really glean from it. And that show is pretty crazy.
Oh my God. At least, okay. At least you gave me some sort of validation on that. Cause I watched the first 2 episodes of this, and I'm where the heck did this show come from? And then my friend just said
contenders,
was it the Great Pretenders? Is that what it is?
Oh no,
I
I
can't
was like,
remember who it was.
I was saying the fighting contenders for like Record of
Oh
Ragnarok,
yeah,
and like how
yeah,
the
and I'm like,
different gods' personalities are. It's just wow.
it's like, where did this, like, what is this? It's like at first it's like, okay, so are they making fun of JoJo or what's going on with it, like with the extravagantness and stuff? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I'm glad that you kind of solidified that, because even if you didn't know where this was from, then that's great. Some people said the manga was really good, and I'm like, there was manga of this, because this literally came out of nowhere. Very impressive. Oh man. But let's see. Do you no, I already said that. What is one of the things that you've learned now that you wish you knew when you started your VA journey?
What are things I learned? I guess knowing my worth, and like also like it's really difficult because and I wish there are classes about like the business side of things, honestly. Like there's so many classes on like how to act and like different approaches and how to dissect a script, but for the business side of it, there's like little education about it, and it's very much like learning as you go. And I feel like that's something that I would have wished that I had a mentor or like something to kind of learn all that from, especially when it comes to like the non-union world, because it's like the Wild West, anything goes, as opposed to like the union where there's like certain structures and pay minimums and things like that. And I'm sure like having somebody like an agent would definitely be able to help in that regard as well. But only recently, I feel like in the past few years, did the group CODA, Coalition of Dubbing Actors, was formed by some really amazing people in order to educate newer actors about what they should be what's the word that they should be expected to get, like certain like rates, like you should do this, don't get undercut, don't do this and that. So I wish something like that were around when I had first started out. But now, like that I am someone that people sometimes turn to, I can relay the information that I know, or point them in the direction of like somebody that is better, that is more knowledgeable, to be able to help them.
Right. That's cool. Like pay it forward in some sort of way,
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually surprised when you said not unionized. Like, I mean, I'm assuming is anime one of the a lot of anime gigs, are they not unionized usually, or because
yes.
Netflix is union.
Netflix is definitely union, and that was only that's only very recent, like maybe these last like few years, and that was after the creation of CODA. So we all like really owed the leaders of that for spearheading the contract and the talks with Netflix for that. But yeah, before that, like very few anime get picked up as union. And so, yeah, really hoping that things will move more in that direction. But it's otherwise it's kind of hard because like there's not always like a very standard rate when it comes to anything non-union.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk money, but I know like how some of the rates can go like with non-unionized, and some of the thing, and then the amount of hours that y'all do is kind of would be it's unfair. In my own opinion, but let's leave it at that. But the pandemic has hit everyone differently this past year and a half, and during this time, was there something that you picked up besides binging 400 episodes of One Piece that you learned during the pandemic? Is there something that you're like, wow, okay, it's like I got time, here you go?
Let's see. Besides learning how to do voiceover remotely, I mean, I had a setup already just to do auditions. But
Mhm.
even then, I wasn't sure of like what my quality was. Like, I didn't know if it'd be good enough for working remotely, or if I'd have to like shell out a bunch of money to upgrade my equipment. And like, I haven't talked with a bunch of people, and like attending all these Zoom meetings with people where they were kind of giving their 2 cents about all sorts of things related to how to set things up and what equipment and things to get. I just kind of like kept what I used. I've upgraded my like interface since then, even though like none of the studios that I'd worked with had a problem with it. I just kind of kept going until like waiting to see if anybody was like, no, it's not good enough, you should have this instead. Then maybe I would consider putting the money out for it, because and the equipment is so expensive.
Oh my God, yes, I know.
And then I've also learned how to use like a recording software called Reaper, and like learning to set it up. YouTube is such a lifesaver because you can learn so much on there. You just kind of have to like weed through to like find exactly what you need. So I watched and like learned how to do very simple things with my recording software. And then also did a bunch of cooking and like gained quite a bit around my waistline. But but cooking was like a big thing for me during the pandemic, just like because I like watching YouTube cooking videos, and I'd be like, that looks so good, I need to know what it tastes like.
What did you usually make?
So pizza was something that I would always just go out and buy, but I was like, I have some of these ingredients, I could try it out. And I was like, wow, pizza is so easy to make. Why have I never done this before? So I started making that a ton. Then also there are certain YouTubers that I really like Ochikaron. She does a lot of like Japanese recipes. And so I've done some of her stuff because she also makes, her recipes are really simple and they tend to be on the healthier side. And then another guy called Aaron and Claire, he does a lot of like Korean recipes. So I really got into like making a bunch of those too. So, oh man, I could talk food all day.
Yeah, man. It's like I'm trying to like get rid of the COVID-19, and it's like you're giving me this.
It's so bad. I'm terrible.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny. Every time it's like when you think of pizza in my mind, I don't know if you remember this. I don't know how old you are, but you remember when like Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen had these like videotapes, like for all these different kinds of things. They have a song called "I Like Pizza," and then there was a DJ that mixed it called "That Screwed and Chopped It," so it's slow motion. So these people are sounding like very low based and stuff. So you see like this 7-year-old girl saying, "I like pizza," really slow and stuff, but it's demonic. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite videos to send.
I have never seen that, and now I am.
Oh, I'm going to send you a link to that. That's something you have to watch. But then it's hilarious. One of the most interesting things that you've done was to sing the intro of a song of "Welcome to Demon School," Iruma-kun. Like, I've never heard of that. Like, for them to do something like that, it's like, how rare is that to happen?
So the song I sang wasn't the intro, but it was in one of the episodes. It's actually in 2 episodes, and it's so rare to dub songs in anime, and for that series in particular, I think it was really cool that they had dubbed all of the songs in it, and Kaylee Mills does a lot of the adaptations for the songs in that, and she is also like an actor and singer in the show, and she is like fantastic. I think in one of the scenes she voices her main character and her entire family, and she sings a song as all of them, which is wild to me. But going back to what my episodes, it's one thing, I think, to learn how to sing a song to a track, but also to dub it is like another thing because you have to match it to the picture. So it's like, all right, so the melody's going this way, but her mouth is doing this. So what's the compromise here so that it doesn't sound bad, but it doesn't look bad either? It's like, how can we cheat it so that it's like somewhere in the middle ground that it won't be like jarring in either way?
So like a scriptwriter must have to kind of would have to change some of the words and stuff to match out the flaps and stuff, right?
It did happen, yes.
Oh wow.
Jalen Cassell is the director, and he did tweak some of the lyrics just to make sure that it fit like the mouth flaps. But but because I had like practiced the song in a certain way, now I'm having to like relearn it in the moment so that it matches, and that can be another like stressful moment on top of that. But I really loved it. I had an amazing time. It's so crazy like how scrapped for time things can be, because we were also on this like simulcast schedule. So instead of just like, it's not like the series was done yet. The Japanese was still like coming out every week, and we were kind of following them by like a few, maybe 1 or 2 episodes behind them. So it's like, all right, we got to get this done. And, at the same time, they have to go through, I think, once the lyrics are written, they have to go through approval and then come back to us before we can dub it and all that. And, so because there was an episode that my character sang in, it was released without, I'm not sure if I can say this actually. But yeah, we had to like go backwards and like dub that because it's the same song in both of these episodes, but one of them was a duet. So so it was a little easier for me to do like the solo song. And then when we jumped to the other song with a duet, I had to make sure that I was like kind of matching like some of the timing of the other actress that had already been in. So yeah, wow. And I think I can't imagine what it was like for the sound engineer to mix that. They are like gods.
Are you normally, would you consider yourself like, are you normally a singer or something like that? Or was this like new territory for you completely? I
don't have any like training. I'm not like I like to sing, and I think I can carry a tune, but I wouldn't say that I'm like great at it. So, it was a very pleasant surprise.
So would we say karaoke level?
Yes, I love karaoke. I can't say that I'm great, but I like it.
Okay. That's cool. All right. And the final question that I have, and I do this for all the voice actors that get on here, but like, what is one of the craziest sentences you have said when you were in the booth? And it could be anything that you remember. It doesn't have to be the craziest, but something that that stuck out to you. And it could be something that's also out of context too. That's also fine.
I guess this is so hard because, as you know, a lot of the times we say a line once or twice and then we move on, and then it's so hard to remember them after a while. I guess I think it was Scarlet Nexus. That game just came out fairly recently. My character in that is very shy and very somewhat awkward. But very well-meaning and wants to make friends and wants to be, like encourage other people. And so I think it's Yuito that she's speaking to, one of the main characters. She approaches them and she's like, "Oh, I feel like you really take good care of other people. You show them like a lot of encouragement, and because of that, they become like strong and they want to follow you." Something along those lines. I can't remember the exact quote. But and I feel like it's like, like when you're watering plants, you water them and then they like grow to be very healthy and strong. And so like I'd like to do that for you too. I'd like to water you. And so it's like just kind of, it's sweet and well-meaning, but it's also kind of strange.
That's pretty awkward. So wait, so her reply on that conversation that she had to that other person was, "I'd like to water you." That sounds like a threat.
Yeah, it's like, and it's very sweet and kind of like, okay, yeah,
It's like,
like, how do you respond to that?
What am I going to do with this information that you just gave me? It's like, what? That's great.
Repay you by watering you, kind of thing. It's just like, okay, yes. And for me to try to say, like rationalize that in my own mind to be able to perform that, it's just like so many lines.
You know what's worse than like. What's worse is that you have the one half of that conversation when you're recording it. It's just, I'd like to water you. It's like, is that like a one-liner that she says when she kills one of the enemies? Or
that would be amazing. She's out there with her watering can. I'll water you. Yeah, I wish it was. That'd
it's like, oh my God. Watch out, she has that can. Oh my God. That would be great. Oh my God. Xanthe, thank you so much for geeking out with me today. It was it was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you so much. This has been super fun.
Yes, and if you liked, would you like to kind of promote like where people can find you, like on your social media or whatnot?
Thank you. Yes. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at Xanthor. Yeah, I post things there sometimes.
As we all, well, not on yours, but you know what I mean. but guys,
please reply to me. I'm very lonely.
Perfect. Hey guys, well, thank you so much, Xanthe. I'm glad. I can't wait to see you in the future with some other projects that's going to be coming in the near future, I'm assuming. But guys, if you like this interview, you could always check out other interviews on our website, confreaksandgeeks.com, or we also have all these interviews on our on any podcast services like Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, what have you. There is no reason to not check us out. But guys, this is Davis signing off. Y'all take it easy.